Hans Wormhat. Just going to talk about a bunch of screenshots I took, mostly from Reddit. And here we go. You should know that there is no harm and no shame in trying different doctors, psychologists when you have depression. It can mean the difference between life and death. From another thread I was in, there were quite a few people mentioning how they were with a doctor or have tried many doctors which have not helped them with depression. I myself have seen some 10 to 15 doctors, lost count, and nearly all of them either just gave me a bunch of random pills, none of which helped, except the one I researched for on my own and requested, or they simply wanted to get rid of me, as I was too much to deal with. So what this video, at least this part of this video, is about rampant, what people these days call, mental health issues or mental illness in some cases, and people get really bogged down in the semantics of this. And some good points have been brought up about possible demonic possession being the root cause of some of these disorders. And we see parallels between the way that demonically possessed people in the Bible act and the way that some people that we see in our lives act. And for me, it's just something where the obvious reality that is just clear as day right in front of us, we just ignore it because it's too painful. So the obvious reality is that people are messed up in the head. And there's got to be a reason for that, and I think that there's just normally two reasons. Either you're a normal person caught up in this chaos, and that's why your head is messed up, or you're one of these inverts living a lie, and that's why all their heads are messed up. And I know so many people where on the outside they're the most cheery, friendly person on the outside, but then you get to know them a little bit, and then you start hearing them talk about all their depression and all that stuff. Everybody's wearing a mask, and especially the Orange 33 Club. Their whole life is a mask, and so many of them pop pills left and right, trying out 10. How many people have jobs in healthcare that is dealing with mental illness? These people, there's 10, 15 doctors that they can go out and seek help with. And what happened to people seeking this kind of help with their family? Just the whole family unit has been completely destroyed. Nobody has any support network. If a woman gets pregnant, it's like they basically keep you in the dark about everything, and then they just pop everything on you at the last minute. Nobody, I mean, almost nobody's mom comes and stays with the pregnant woman and teaches them all about everything that's going to happen. Everything's very hands off, and people just let the system do everything. If your child is suffering from a mental health problem, the family doesn't group together and figure out what's going on, what's wrong, what are the things that are causing problems. No, you outsource it. Got to go send them to a professional, pay money and all that. And rather than just looking around and seeing the system for how broken it is, maybe your child's depressed because you're sending them to an indoctrination center 5 days a week, all day, and they're probably being bullied if they're a natural human, or their brain is just, they're so bored. I just remember most just the mind-numbing boredom of school. And that can cause depression for a lot of people. And yeah, it's a problem where the solution is not going to the system. This just goes into Stockholm Syndrome society. People are damaged or injured by the system, and they go seek solutions given by the system. And they wonder, why am I still not any better? Maybe try art therapy. My wife's a wonderful artist. I've never heard of art therapy before. Could you elaborate? Everybody just needs help today. Everybody knows people that are just holding on by a thread, or not even. People chimping out left and right. Mental health breakdowns. People bring their dogs to work now. The office spaces are filled with people's support animals. People have strange things like support lizards, and it's crazy. The mental people's mental ability, ability to keep their own sanity is non-existent, and there's a problem. I'm a music therapist. All sorts of therapy. I know people that have like horse therapy businesses. People go ride horses, and because a lot of it has to do with all the children being born with developmental issues, and a lot of life is depressing, and a lot of people do have good reasons to be depressed. But for me, it's just an obvious symptom of an issue of this Baphomet system, and you got to face reality. You can't just pretend that the system's working and go along with it. So you have to fight the evil and just keep pointing out the truth. I work in a mental health office, and another thing that you realize, everybody knows that psychiatrists are the craziest people themselves. The people that work in mental health have their own mental health issues, and they just put on a face when you come in. It honestly makes people feel less crazy when they have jobs where they get to hear other people's crazy stories. Oh, okay, well now I'm not so bad because I hear all these other nutcases. And people, honestly, this is just a strange thing. People look for jobs and things like that from what they know, from what they're familiar with. People that are constantly dealing with mental health problems, they're actually more drawn to go do mental health things. I've heard of this in really bizarre ways where people that have speech problems and they've attended all sorts of speech therapy and things in their life, they'll end up going into speech therapy. They'll try to get degrees in speech therapy, but they have horrible speech issues. And it becomes this strange thing where it's you actually have really bad speech problems, but you're going and getting degrees in speech therapy like you're going to go help people. It's just another strange Stockholm syndrome type idea. All sorts of people out there are heavily medicated. You don't know what kind of medications the bus driver's on, or anybody. Your doctor, your teachers, who knows what they're hopped up on. Just everybody. Everybody today is on all sorts of medication if they just go to the doctor and they do what they're told, which is most people. Most people, they go to the doctor, they do what they're told. And if you do that, it's very likely that you'll be on some sort of medication. And they push, I don't have any slides in here, but I read this all the time on Reddit where people say that, oh, I went to get a checkup, and my doctor, now they always ask about mental health stuff. It's just part of written into the script. Oh, how's your mental health? And people will say that they're just honest. They'll reply something like, well, I'm kind of stressed now because I got this going on and I got this going on. And then the doctor says, oh, well, sounds like you might need some Prozac. And the people will even fight back and say, no, 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 no. You asked me how I was doing. I'm a little bit stressed, but it's totally normal life stuff. I don't need any medication. But the doctors will push it on people. And yeah, the system obviously is not working. People have never been this crazy as for all my. I've always grown up knowing that people acted in ways that didn't make sense to me. But today is just a whole nother level. People can't keep it together. People have regressed so much that, and the society is just very open about it. At least in America, you can get away with so much if you just say, "Oh, my mental health. I need to focus on my mental health." It's just become a card that people can play, and you're supposed to just accept that as a legitimate thing. I can't I can't do my job. I can't do work because my mental health is most important. It's coming first for me, and people like get away with that. You can't like fire somebody for that. At least it's not easy. And uh, I think it shows you how bad it is. It's bad. It's really bad. I tried 11 different medications of three different types. So I don't know, maybe this is a fake 33 11 3 story, but I don't know, maybe after you've tried 11 different medications, maybe medication is not the answer. Then they say that they found some magic drug. Oh, well, I found this thing that's an anti-seizure and it works for my depression. It's something more than that. You can't just take pills and think it's going to fix everything. these people are often, they're living these double lives, these Orange 33 double lives. How could you? So I'll just put it this way: it's like when you see morbidly obese people complain about their issues and act as if their issues aren't directly caused by their morbid obesity. You know, you see these people that are 600 pounds and they're like, oh, well, my heartburn. Oh, well, my this. Oh, well, my that. And you're just sitting and staring at them like, yeah, it's because you're 600 pounds. Same thing with inverts that complain about their mental health issues. Oh, my mental health. Oh, my mental health. Well, maybe it has something to do with this double life that you're living with your huge secrets and your Orange 33 oath club. Maybe that's your issue. 20 some pills a day, last psychiatrist. My grandmother was treated for depression, got worse and worse. Oh, this is just a really sad story. You can pause these if you want to read them. Really sad story about doctors not caring and just putting people in pharmaceutical comas, basically. Old people just hopping them up on so many meds that they become like a zombie. People having mental health crises left and right. Hmm. I've I've had run-ins with people having mental health breaks. It's crazy, and it's really really hard to get police to come take them away. It's like they need to have some sort of threat of violence and or of actually hurting themselves. Yeah, there's a lot of crazies out there. I mean, luckily not in the way that the media portrays. You know, the media portrays, oh, there's all these people out there plotting to go kill random people. And no, that's not how craziness manifests itself. The crazies are the people smearing feces on the walls and, you know, having their period mess all over the place and getting naked and freaking out and having doing repetitive, getting stuck in loops and acting crazy in that way. That's reality. That's real mental health problems. People physically breaking down, not able to take care of themselves. The whole Unabomber, John Wayne Gacy mental health. I mean, there is a lot of pedo stuff, but just the sensationalized news stuff is not true. They take reality and they sensationalize it. That's just one of their MOs. And mental health is another one. It's not really how they portray it on TV. You guys might have your own experiences. I don't know. I don't want to go through the whole story that I had, but yeah, basically seeing people mentally break down, it's a strange thing. This is just talking about, so this was just a comment about how usually what you have to do is you have to know what's best for yourself. You have to do all the research yourself. And this is something that people know. I love it when it's just like a thing that is out in the open. People know this, but it's something that's not common. It's not like accepted, even though it's something that we intrinsically know. One of those things is doctors love to push just their own thing, and doctors have this like God complex, this megalomania complex, and they really don't, they look down on you and they're going to do what they want to do and ignore you basically. And this was just a comment about where you have to be your own advocate, and you're a lot of times if you do your own research you're going to know better than a doctor who just walks in. Just because somebody walks in with a lab coat, that doesn't mean anything. And as it is on Reddit, I just always like to point out that reasonable comments that I'm like, that's actually a good comment, they always get downvoted. Avoid negative thoughts and negative people from your life to make sure you're less depressed. People go downvote stuff like that. Why would you do that? That's a great comment. Um, and this one, just best way to treat depression is to find out the root source of your depression and then develop a plan to make it better. People always just downvote this stuff because they're like, you don't understand depression. You know, real depression is when people can't even get out of the bed, and it's not like they can say that there's a cause of it. And I just call BS on that. The people that I've known in my life that are cripplingly depressed, okay, they're also inverts. So you're living this fake life. You're a part of this big Baphomet system. How can you pretend that you don't know the root cause of your depression? It's right there. I just thought this was some funny. So changing subjects. We'll end the video with more lighthearted stuff. Today was a nice quiet day at the office until my Game Boy exploded. I was seated next to it, happily opening some Ninja Turtle action figures. The building had to be excavated, so I'm guessing they're trying to say evacuated. Fire department came, and I had to explain to everyone that my Game Boy exploded while I was opening Ninja Turtle action figures. Total Arrested Development, but I thought this was funny, the comment. Did you get in trouble, a write, or anything? No, I didn't get in any trouble. I think the fire department was excited to use the little meter that measures air quality. Real life is not exciting. Stuff doesn't happen, which is why they love making up BS. They love psyops, they love all that stuff because real life is really boring. The fire people were excited to have an opportunity to actually use their instruments. Do you know how much money gets wasted on all sorts of instruments that just sit in a closet for years and years and years until they just get thrown away and replaced with new stuff? That's reality. That's how real life works. There's these huge closets full of a bunch of junk that money had to be spent on and it never gets used. That's reality. It's not like TV. There's not a bunch of CSI crime. You ever wonder, CSI, what the heck are all these crazy murders happening every episode? There's enough like homicidal maniacs for there to be an episode every week of some new crazy person. That's not reality. Reality is boring. Real life firefighters are excited when a Game Boy explodes. That should tell you how reality is. Just look at this dumpy Free Martin. The last face your mother sees at night. 31-year-old Iraq vet. Come at me. War is fake. Look at the short torso, chubby. Does that look like a warrior to you? I don't know about that. Throw in the Baphomet sign. Yeah, not a warrior. Am I that a-hole for telling a stranger her funeral outfit was inappropriate? Oh, I just liked this because it sounds just like a mega obvious, T-word. My great grandmother passed away a few days ago, and her funeral was her funeral was this morning, I guess. High Roman Catholic Mass. She was 103. One of my cousins, Joseph, brought his girlfriend, Raven. They're both 19, and if my Aunt Sandy is to be believed, neither of them work but live in her basement playing video games and smoking pot. Joseph was a pallbearer, so he wore a suit. Raven, however, showed up wearing a pair of knee-length denim shorts and an orange and white flannel button-up. I just picked it because the orange reference and just this is how you shall know them by their fruits. I mean, this sounds like an maybe an FTMTF or something. I don't know. With the name Raven though. These people are all around you. This is just some no-name reaction channel. Look at them throwing the gang signs. These people are everywhere. Gang sign throwers. You're surrounded by this club of people and they all have emotional issues. Gang sign throwers, I see a direct correlation in my life between throwing gang signs and being an emotional wreck. So why don't they approach that issue? Why don't they talk about that? Mental health issues are invert issues, are gang sign throwing Orange 33 Club issues. It's their issue, this mental health problem. They're wrecks. This is just some transvestigation related stuff, which is why I picked it. Become familiar with your face. Don't be afraid to experiment. And this is probably Photoshop anyways. Probably doesn't look anything like this in real life. But I liked this comment down here. I can't wear makeup like that because I physically don't have the lid space. So this is a bio female. This isn't MTF. Real women don't have crazy space between their eye and their eyebrow. And that's just something that you'll notice. Men have a lot of space between their eye and their eyebrow. Women do not have a lot of space. Everything in wacko, bizarro, invert land, it's backwards. Drag queen makeup, they put their eyebrows crazy high up. That's actually a dude thing. And go look at all the celebrities. All the celebrities are inverted. They'll tell you, what's what. Want to know what's manly? Go look at female celebrities. Their eyebrows will be really high up. Want to know what's womanly? Go look at alleged male celebrities. Their eyebrows are close to their eyes. So you see that it's backwards. Uh, oh gosh. Yeah, of course, talking about sodomy. This was just something about uh, people being shamed for wanting a bunch of children. I just picked this because there were so many girls. She was currently trying to work on her eighth because she didn't have a boy. Somebody had seven girls in a row without having a boy. We just hear a lot of instances of this, having tons of girls, which I think would just be because, yeah, you're just sleeping with a bunch of free martins that don't really have the. Some free martins, they don't even need to administer anything, and their children will flip and become a free martin. They just have a really strong, you know, whatever you want to call it, free martin gene. I do believe that not all of them have to force the flip. But I think it does explain instances like this. I know a girl, she has 8 living children. All children are girls, and all have different fathers. Oh, geez. I just think it's interesting. I don't think it's what they tell you 50% boy, 50% girl. There's more stuff going on. There's families out there that, like this, keep having girl, 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 and it's like, it seems like they'll never have a boy. There's families that every single one, boy, 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 boy. There's more going on to this than 50% boy, 50% girl. Fake animal stuff. Fruit bats are pretty much just puppies with wings. All those flying foxes, the giant bats, they really are. It's just a CGI'd puppy. It's like a little rat dog, like a Chihuahua type dog, and they just CGI ears and a tongue on it. My Wonderful Grandma, Lola Marines, 1954. See, women have always been in positions of power, and maybe not as common, but all this men against women thing, battle of the sexes, it's part of their game. But look at doing the Masonic M or Triad Claw, whatever you want to call it, that is clearly posed to be like that. You are surrounded by gang sign throwers. Nobody just sits there for a photo like that and puts their hand like that. This is just some disturbing end time stuff. It's the end. Praise Jesus, praise God. It really is the end. The signs are all there. Read your Bible, Isaiah prophecy. This is end times. It's so bad. There's nothing that can be done. Jesus is coming back in the clouds with fire, and it's coming soon. A church in Malmo has a new altarpiece meant to celebrate inclusivity by replacing Adam and Eve in paradise with gay couples in suggestive poses, while depicting the serpent tempting them as a transgender woman. The openly lesbian artist said at the time she wanted to test if the Church of Sweden was as gay friendly as it claimed to be when it embraced same sex marriage in 2009. This was just a lot of people have probably seen this picture before, but every once in a while I go on Vote, and it's very alt-right, and they love to praise Hitler as some sort of great person, but hippie Hitler, just, it doesn't get more obvious than this. Skulls and bones, which one's a man, which one's a woman? Here's some fake art stuff. African art is garbage, take it out. So one of the things of being an alt-right media, they have to, shills get paid to go be racist over there, and because they want to paint it as being racist to turn people off from, they go there, oh, I heard that this place is like a free speech place, and then they see that every other thing is bashing black people or whatever. I just picked this because, okay, so I agree that all art is garbage, really, but they're trying to say that African art is garbage. But to me, these look exactly like the like Chinese soldiers. It's the same thing. It's the same process. It reminds me of, if you've ever watched the show How It's Made, it's actually pretty good, but you'll see that a lot of industries, they all do things in basically the same way. And for making a lot of models, a lot of it has to do with, you make like a wax model, and then you plaster or do something around the wax, and then you melt out the wax, and now you have a negative. A lot of it's going from a negative mold to a positive mold, back to a negative mold. Anyways, this is just clearly, it's like the same type of process that they use for the Chinese buried soldiers, and it's probably the same process that they use. This looks like whatever they make the pyramid bricks out of. It's just some sort of concrete made from different sand. And I don't know, I just thought it was interesting. Probably not as old as they'll tell you it is, though. I'll just finish with this. It was an interesting GIF just showing perspective. Perspective, optical illusions, optics. They lie about how all that stuff works, and they love it because it's illusions, basically, and they can use optical illusions to fool people. And that's why stuff like this always gets a lot of votes, and people love sharing it. They love optical illusions. I always remember so many books in the library would be about optical illusions, and now I get it. Now I get why they like this stuff. And anyway, so I'll just end with this. It's interesting. It's just that it kind of looks like it's falling on you, but it's just a big wind turbine driving at you. And wind turbines are also a great hoax. They don't make energy, it's just a prop. And they probably cost more energy. You've probably seen how they don't blow with the wind. It's like they're being driven. They go at a constant rate, and a lot of times if it's really windy, they have to turn them off because it just breaks it. They're just props. Well, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. God bless everybody.